Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let me just make sure I have the microphone set here. Audio. Uh, Input. Perfect. Well, hello, everybody. Jean is here. Kelsey's here. Amanda's here. Yay. I'm so glad you guys are here. I was just like ready for a live stream today. I'm doing like the Oprah clapping. Yeah, I'm super excited. In fact, I'm even going to light a candle because I just love having candles in the fall and at Christmas. These are gorgeous candles from Quebec. I'm actually going to start making candles. So I'm just going to chatter here while I wait for people to arrive. And I'm just before I started, I thought I was using Zoom. Now, here's a little secret. Okay. Zoom has something, it's called Touch Up My Appearance. That's a little tip for you guys if you do any zooming. And I really like it because I have rosacea. So my skin, it's got issues. And then I got like this pimple I'm waiting to go away. And then I just put concealer on it, which actually just made it look worse. So anyway, yeah. So I thought, oh yeah, I'm using Zoom. And then I forgot I used this other program and Zoom has that filter and this other program doesn't. And I got more good stuff to share with you, but I was researching another platform and seeing if they have a filter. And the main reason is because I don't necessarily want to call myself lazy, but I'm kind of lazy in the fact that I don't really like to put makeup on very often. Part of the reason is, and I've shared this before, is that I've had a couple of huge concussions in my life and my eye here is affected. Like it gets what feels like eye strain. It turns out it's actually from the concussion. And so for some reason, makeup makes my eye hurt. I know that sounds crazy and it might sound psychosomatic, but it just happens. Like I won't even be thinking about it, but makeup, I think one of the components, there's some sensitivity I have to it. And that's just like how it manifests in my body. So anyway, I don't like to wear makeup. Plus I hate taking it off. And I do. I mean, like, and like when I say makeup, I actually wear just like a tinted concealer. But I'm not wearing any today, except for I did throw the tinted concealer on my chin and some concealer on my one pimple there. So there's a little behind the scenes. So I was like a minute late turning things on. But welcome, welcome. I see people are already telling me where they're from. I see somebody else who's here from Vancouver Island like me. Yay. When we talk about Vancouver Island, it makes it sound small. Vancouver Island is actually like a pretty big island. It's bigger than Prince Edward Island, which is a whole province in Canada. So welcome, welcome everybody. Susie's here. She says it's wild here. I bet it is. She's in the Outer Hebrides. Is that right, Susie? The Outer Hebrides. And it's gotta be in Scotland. My gosh, in October. Not lazy. If makeup makes your eye hurt, it's a valid reason not to put it on, right? So the only time I pretty much put it on is if I'm filming. And even then, I literally just put on the tinted concealer. Like I am a very, very easygoing girl. Like this is me feeling dressed up for work today, is wearing this like sweatpants and I dropped my blanket and my sweater. Like this is me feeling dressed up because they match. Hi from Ohio. We've got people from California, Wisconsin, Orange County, Puerto Rico. Bigger than Japan, yes. Alabama, Netherlands. Oh my gosh, so many people. Donine is here from Saskatchewan. So many familiar faces. I love seeing you guys all here. Megan's here and not square, Sheila says, because in the email, that's what I said. Be here or not, be there or square. Anyway, I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. I will tell you all about my tea. You tell me what you're drinking. It's very important that you enjoy a beverage, whether it's cold or hot. Sometimes people like Susie, who's here from Scotland, they're here. It's like evening. So they're having a little gin and tonic or something. Me, I'm having my tea. Now, this tea, I really should get an affiliate link again with David's tea. Because here's the thing. I know sometimes like people are like, but there is a bit of expense that goes into YouTube. Like even this program I'm using right now for this live stream, it's like, I don't know, $17 a month or something like that. But there's a bunch of things that add up. And this tea, I had an affiliate link for David's tea. I think it was last year and maybe the year before. And I was like, I love the pumpkin chai. So I might get an affiliate link again just because I talk about it so much. But I was literally buying it by the kilogram. I was buying like 2 kilograms of pumpkin chai tea. And I actually made myself sick of it. It took a while. It took actually like about a year and a half of me like drinking this tea constantly. That's actually something that aggravates my rosacea. But so I've tried to only drink 3 cups of tea a day, but usually it's 4. And actually before 2, I drink that many. But anyway, we are going to chat about decluttering soon. I'm just waiting for people to arrive. So anyway, yes, this tea, I was getting sick of it. And then I ended up saying, okay, well, it's pumpkin chai. It's a fall tea. I'm just going to leave it. And Kelsey, who's here, she was always showing up drinking something called Murchie's, which is a tea company in BC here. So I went to Murchie's and bought a bunch of teas and was like, this is delicious. So I was drinking that. But then lo and behold, fall rolls around and I love my pumpkin chai again. So that is great. Now let's see. Drinking water in Indiana because it's noon. Totally. I would use the link for tea. You're so sweet. In the meantime, just go check it out. I looked at the size of Vancouver Island. It's huge. Yes, it is. It is very big. It takes, I think, about 5 hours to drive from one end to the other, maybe more. But yeah, it's nice. Going to be 67 in the PNW today. That's right, Jean. Jean is not far from me. But it is like full on. Here, let me show you. First of all, you're going to see some of there's my camera equipment, but look, that's the weather. And that's my car. I call it Snowball. Yeah, that's the weather. That's what it's like. And I have an actual forest of mushrooms in my driveway. In fact, maybe I can share my screen and show you my mushroom forest because why not? Before we start chatting about all of the fun stuff that's coming up. We're going to talk decluttering. We're going to talk how long it took for me to declutter my house. And it's not going to let me share. I guess you have to share a website. But anyway, yeah, it took me a while. But I'm also going to tell you how to do it quicker, which is fun too. Because if you want to get your house under control, what's the delay, right? Like, let's just get this happening. Anyway, I have a forest of mushrooms at the end of my driveway. Like there's probably like 200 or 300. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And our island has, I don't even, are there 1 million people? Maybe 1 million people on the island. And we call it the island. And a lot of people, we say Vancouver Island. A lot of people think it's Vancouver. It's not. It's across from Vancouver. It's a big old island. So it doesn't even feel like you live on an island until you need to like go to the mainland. And then it's like, oh, well, that is costing me a lot of money. I'm going to see a concert on Monday. The band Tool. I'm sure very few of you listen to them, but I am so excited. Oh my gosh, I love Tool. And then my husband and I are going to see Depeche Mode in November. So that's going to be fun. Okay. Now let's get to some questions. So the first one I am going to talk and answer is Vanessa said, how to plan dropping off when decluttering, meaning when you have to make a donation and such. All in one day, pack everything in the garage, in the car, drop it off Saturday. This is where I struggle. And I'm going to be honest with you. I also struggle with dropping off things. So what I do typically is I will have a bag and I buy our toilet paper from Costco and it comes in these big bags. and I will use those bags and I will just throw things that I'm decluttering in there. And just the other day, actually yesterday, I posted a video of just a very quick declutter in our dining room, and there were like 3 or 4 things I grabbed, and I just right when I was done, I just took them out to the garage, put them in that bag, and then I will take that bag to the donation place. So, I have started getting my nails getting gel nails. See? I have a little ghost and a little pumpkin, and right next to that, it's so convenient. There's actually a donation place, thank goodness, because it was a bit of a struggle, mostly for me, like, as a person with ADHD, like, anytime I would go out shopping, like, the Costco, who I go to Costco, like, at least a couple times a month, I could drop stuff off there, but instead, I would, forget quite often. Putting things in the car would be helpful, but again, it's a matter of forgetting it. So now I have realized for me, one of the best things is to create a habit. That is the best thing for me to do almost all of the time is to create a habit for something. So what I do now is when I go and get my nails done, and I will be honest, I did forget them last time, but I just bring the bag with the toilet paper, that toilet paper comes in, and I just put the clothes or whatever because I have, kids, 2 teen boys at home, 1 that's grown up, and my 1 son. I have this hamper, I think I showed you guys before, but I have this hamper of basically books that they brought up that I need to go through, and I don't think they'll take books though, but I can go through that, throw that in there, and then drop that off. And this let me tell you what these kids did to me. Right before my son was moving out, oh my gosh, we I was feeling like a little sad because he was moving. Not super sad. Mostly, you wanna know how I was feeling? I was feeling like my life was changing and it wasn't like I was like, here's the thing, he's gone, but he was so ready to go. Yes, you can watch this later. It will just be on my channel. But he was so ready to go that it wasn't like I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss him being around." It was like, "Oh, like he's like grown up now." I remember driving down the street and like thinking the Thomas the Train song because that's sort of the era he was a little boy in, and that made me feel really sad. And it was just like I'm past that phase of my life. So anyway, my kids, my middle son was going to take my oldest son's bedroom because it's a basement bedroom and teenagers want to be in the bedroom. So they brought up this hamper full of things and it was like pictures that they brought home from daycare and like journals they wrote in when they were in grade 2 and I was like, "Oh, like it was like I'd been shot in the heart." These monsters, like, what are they doing to their mother? So anyway, I've got this thing to go through, and this is one of the things that I always say to people, is like, don't go through stuff when it's like a trying time psychologically or emotionally. Like my son moving out, that's a big life event, not a good time to go through that. So now I am beyond ready to go through it. I think I just feel like I should film it given my, you know, one of my jobs is being a YouTube creator about decluttering and the mindset behind it. So, yeah, I am going to go through that and that I will take that stuff to the donation place. So, my answer to the how to do it is what works best for you. If you're decluttering, like some people, I believe it is it Dana K. White says to do it the day you do the decluttering. Now, for me, the problem is that would make me say, and I have said this before in videos because I want people to get a lot of options. So they think, oh, well, that would work for me. I would like to take it to the donation place the day I do it. Like, say you live in downtown Edinburgh or somewhere where it's like just down the street and it's very easy for you to like drop it off. Meanwhile, for me, I've got to get in the car and I've got to drive like 15 minutes to drop things off. So for me, if I was like, I want to declutter, but then I got to go and drop it off, that would almost be a deterrent. So what's best is whatever you can do is to remove barriers that are making you not want to do something. So instead, what I do is I say, okay, I'm going to declutter. And then I have this bag where I keep things in the garage. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's sort of just sitting there. It matches the other bag of toilet paper. And I will fill it up. And then, like I said, when I go and get my nails done, I will drop off that bag, which is wonderful and helpful. So that is the option. The other option is keeping things in your car. And I have certainly kept things in my car to drop off to donation places. That is actually another good thing you can do. I kind of just don't like keeping things in my car, mostly just because I just like keeping the car clean. But sometimes I feel like I'm alone in that one. I'm just going to look at the comments here real quick. Okay. Having flavored carbonated water. I love fizzy water. If we are trading geography facts, France would fit inside the borders of Saskatchewan. Yes, Saskatchewan's big. Canada is a huge country, and our provinces, a lot of them are really big. Right. Mushroom season is over. Yeah, I don't know about those ones. I'm going nowhere near. There are some poisonous mushrooms on Vancouver Island, so I'm not going to do it. And Lindy loves Tool. Michelle said it was hard to get tickets for Tool. Yes, Colleen loves Tool. I have become really good at getting tickets. And to get the tickets for Tool, I actually had to sign up for their membership. I was not impressed with them, but I think it was like $50 for a year. And I basically signed up and like, as soon as I got my tickets, I canceled the membership, but I just really wanted to see them. It's, like they're not getting any younger. None of us are. Never thought of using large packaging for trash or decluttering. Yeah, and that's the thing. So what I like about using that big bag of the toilet paper is that, yes, I am repurposing it. And I always use those big bags for something because they fit so much. Like, even if I don't know why, but sometimes like garbage gets around in our yard. So I'll just like walk around in the yard and pick it up, or I'll say to the kids, more likely that's what I do, is I say, like, take this bag and go walk around and find whatever. Hello, everybody coming. And Deborah, that is so sweet, saying my hair looks amazing. That's very nice of you. Okay, so I did a video about how I do my hair. Now, as I do it, I am kind of talking / crying about my son moving out, but I will find the link for you. But what I use is Sap Moss shampoo and conditioner. And then I use, there's the video in the description or in the comments. And then I use Aveda leave-in conditioner, some other curl cream. I can't remember it all. I don't want to bore people while I think about it. But yes, I have fought my hair my whole life. And it wasn't until I was about 40, so 4 years ago, that I finally was like, oh, I'm going to embrace it forever. Like when I was a teenager, I hated it. Pink waving. Well, hello. Hand pink. Cray. Scottish gal in the UK. Oh my gosh. Welcome. Anita says she has to wait for her hubby to drive things. Yes. Tool is such a good band. I'm telling you. Sentimental items. I threw away a pair of hiking boots from 1960 that my mom kept for ages. She tried so hard to give it to someone, but I decluttered them. She doesn't know yet. And you know what? That's the thing. Like, sometimes people will show up at your house with a box of things, or we'll do it to ourselves, or we will also do it. We'll be like, I'm going to give this to my adult kid or whatever. The thing about decluttering to other people is it's not, first of all, unless they want it, it's not really fair. Because then you're making it their problem, and then you're giving them the guilt that goes along with decluttering something that was somebody they care about, which isn't, it's not like they're trying to be unkind, but it's actually not a good thing to do. So yeah, if somebody has some, and I even like, I have a family member whose mom passed away, and her mom was like, you're going to keep this, or I'm giving you this piece of furniture. it's going to look so great in your house. And this family member was like, "Oh my gosh, like I don't want that." But then their parent was dying, so they felt like, "Oh my gosh, like I have to keep this?" Like that we shouldn't be doing that. And we can't take on other people's feelings because so much of what we deal with decluttering and everything is just like so much guilt. And that guilt comes from a lot of the things that we've learned in life. So, yeah. And yeah, Megan, I think you're kind of onto the right track. I think it's ego dumping your clutter on someone feels better than tossing it in the garbage. Right. So what you feel like is that you're not even like they would rather give it to somebody they know than bring it to a donation center. Like absolutely. I mean, and I'm guilty of it too. Like I have a or had a it was expo, Olympics. I think it was from year 2000 or something like that. I've talked about it before. It was like this red sweatshirt. It said Canada on it, and it was from the Olympics. And I used to wear it when I would work night shift when I was a police dispatcher. And it was just like what I wore, at least one of my night shifts or both. I don't know. And then when I was going through my decluttering journey, one of my kids was like, "Oh, I'll take that." And I was like, "Oh, good." Right? And so that's just the thing. Like, why do I feel like this needs to be perpetuated? And so then he was going through his stuff and saying like, "Nope, I don't need that." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" I mean, this was like a couple months ago, you guys. So I'm not like perfect. I am not immune. People compliment your things to be nice. They don't want them. Yeah, Jean. Jean's always dropping the truth bombs. I love it. So true. Um, we were talking about planning Christmas charity market. I'm going to put this here so I don't lose it. For the church, and they were planning to craft things. I was like, really? We have so much to declutter. That's a very interesting idea. And that, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to get into Christmas gifts yet because I have some very fun things coming for Christmas. You guys know how much I love Christmas. But yeah, Christmas gifts and Christmas creating and just all of the consumption. And that's what it is. Like for me, when it comes to Christmas, I'm like, let's reduce the consumption and expand the like peace and rest and joy. That's to me what it should be about. It should be about baking a lot of cookies and then trying really hard to only eat one a day. All right. Yep. Absolutely, Anita. Kim, hello. When I'm getting rid of something that is expensive, I struggle because I want it to go to a good home. Yeah, to somebody that will appreciate it. Absolutely. I totally get that. But the funny thing is, and it is so hard to just say, like, this is a thing. It has no feelings, it has no beliefs, it has no nothing. We are the people who anthropomorphize things. I called my car Snowball, like I gave it a name. Should I be doing that? No. Although, like, and I even talked about like when we got this car and we downsized because we downsized to this car, we sold our van. And I was like slightly sad, but I'm like, it's steel, it's plastic, it's rubber. Like almost like if you can deconstruct things in your mind, it's the meanings we give things. And in our Untangled membership, like I've been talking about how, we attach to things and we have this security around what we're keeping. And a lot of that comes from our subconscious. Our subconscious is like, don't change things. Things are going good. We're alive. We're not dying. Like, don't mess things up. I've been going through almost everything I have in the past week and getting rid of a lot of items. My main issue is the paperwork. So, yikes. Yes, paperwork. Oh my gosh. Paperwork is such a big topic. But one of the main things is just when I decluttered our paperwork, this was a big thing. I don't know if I recorded that or not, but what I did is I had a bag of stuff. And I basically looked up for my government, so in Canada, I looked up what are the things that I need to keep legally, like as far as taxes and that go. I also looked up what is suggested to keep. Of course, there are things like birth certificates, insurance, things like that. And then I made a binder, and in that binder, I put a section for insurance, like car insurance, house insurance. I put a section for like birth certificates, marriage certificates. I put a section for like kid health stuff, one day maybe my husband's and mine health stuff. And then and then the rest of it, I recycled what did not need to be shredded, and anything that needed to be shredded in that bag, I took it to Staples. And what was great, Staples was having a sale on shredding because they shred it by the pound. But even then, it's not that bad. But what you need to do when you're doing your decluttering your paperwork, just put on some music, entertain yourself somehow, and just do it, right? Such a pain. Okay. I want to get to the next question because this is what I actually said I was going to talk about the whole time. And the question was, I just recently discovered your channel and find your videos helpful and encouraging. While decluttering obviously remains a constant task to maintain a tidy home, I'm curious how long it took you to initially get to the point where you felt mostly done with establishing a more simplified life and home. All right. My mug, it's on the red. I love that mug so much. Okay. So, as far as how long it took me, I'm going to tell you how long it took me, and then I'm going to tell you how you can do it a bit quicker. I also have a shredder. So, it took me about 3 months, I would say, to declutter our whole home. And that wasn't like I wasn't working, dawn to dusk or yeah. I was just doing a little bit every day. And it, of course, is an ongoing process, just like Lisa, the lovely commenter, said, or question asker said. It is an ongoing process. Like everybody, like Dawn, she says the same thing. Like, yes, like things come in all the time. Like I just got things from Amazon that came. Although I'm going to tell you, I'm returning like almost all of it. And one of them was like, I wanted like a big. Have you ever watched Farmhouse on Boone? I love that lady. I'm going to be on her podcast. She has a gorgeous big. I'm going like this, but it's just like this big round. It's a wooden spoon, but it kind of is like a ladle. So I ordered one of those from Amazon. I accidentally ordered two. Completely not a good description. Now, I'm not going to keep anything that does not align with what I want. Anytime I'm buying anything, I'm like, do I want this? Where am I going to keep it? Like it's about like making those decisions. However, I'm just saying about everybody still has to declutter sometimes. And I'm always going through stuff like my own clothes. I was just like, I had this blazer I bought years ago, and I was like, why am I keeping this? It's gone. So it took me about 3 months. Now, one of the things that worked out really well for me when I was doing it is that as a person with ADHD, we can get really like kind of borderline obsessed with stuff for a little while. And what I have learned to do is to harness that when I can and when it's appropriate. So if I'm in the middle of like painting my dining room, I'm not going to. Here's the thing, quite often your brain will say, oh boy, this is a lot of work. I'm kind of not digging this change. Let's do something else. Oh, look, videos about decluttering. Let's declutter instead of finish painting the dining room. That's not good. You really do have to force yourself to do it. And it has taken me decades to get to that point where I can really learn how to be really firm with myself. But when I can, and the opportunity presents itself where I can be obsessed with something that is going to help me, something good, like say it was like, I was like, I just want to do a lot of meal planning right now. I love canning and food preparation. Like I like to put things aside so that like on the weekend I can spend like a couple of days in the kitchen just having fun, listening to books, and then I put stuff up, and then during the week it makes it so much easier. So like at the end of a like busy business day, or say I like go and work a nursing shift, then I don't have to worry about dinner because I've done it during the week. Anyway, so that is my current obsession. I might not feel like doing that, but for now, it's super beneficial to lean into the fun that that is, which is good. So that is one bonus thing. Now, like when something's interesting to me, I strike while the iron is hot. Now, for you, if you're saying to yourself, like, I really want to declutter, how long is this going to take? Okay, so you need to be honest with yourself. If you're not going to work at it steady, so for me, it took about 3 months, but I was working on it relatively regularly. Like, I think every day I worked for a little bit, and I did probably about half an hour a day and piled everything up. And I would say I finished, yeah, about 3 months, and had there's a company, it's a charity, Canadian Diabetes. They would come to your house and take your stuff, and then they stopped during COVID because I had done another big pass of my house. And that's the thing, it's like you'll declutter your house, and then you'll do like a maintenance declutter and do it again, right? So I was doing a maintenance declutter when COVID started, and I had, oh my gosh, so much stuff. And it just was there for like 6 months because nobody was taking stuff, but it was fine. At least it was, in the garage, and the house was much more peaceful and enjoyable to be at. So for you, if you want to declutter your house and you're like, how long is this going to take? You have got to be honest with yourself. Are you actually decluttering? Are you working on what you need to get done? Are you saying like, this is taking forever, but you're not actually putting the time in? So I'm going to tell you some math things that I've been chatting about a few times lately. So you may have heard me say this, but if you work just 30 minutes a day, so say your house is just basically hoarder level, and I say that without judgment, but you have a lot of stuff. If you work 30 minutes a day for a year, just 30 minutes, that is 182 hours of decluttering. That is so much that you could get done. Can you imagine that? If you had a house jam packed, you could completely get it decluttered in a year. If you do 30 minutes a day for a month, just a month, 30 minutes a day, you can have your house potentially decluttered in 15 hours. 15 hours is a lot of work that you could get done. Think about it. The thing is though, you have to be making decisions, because a lot of people, they struggle with indecision. Some people, it's hard to get motivated, and it's hard, and they procrastinate. And for those people, I almost think saying like, hey, you can do 15 hours this month, right? Cross it off, give yourself like an amazing like steak and lobster dinner or something when you're done. But the people who are indecisive, that can be really hard too. And that's the people who have, like, they struggle with belief issues. Their subconscious is really trying to slow them down and stop them. They have harmful patterns. They have generational stuff. Like their parents passed down, not to do things. I mean, think about the people from the Depression. Like, I think everybody here today has been affected by the Depression era mindset in some way. And I mean, that certainly had fallen onto me, as well. And then, like growing up in the 80s when everybody was like, okay, things are cheap, let's buy stuff. Like it was just like opulence, right? Um, and so that is, and so the indecision can be a challenge if those things are holding you back. And if you can't like pick up something and say, like, okay, um, like I could say, this candle is empty, I'm going to throw it out. Now, a lot of people would say, this is a really nice glass jar. I probably should hang on to that. No, no. Now, here's the thing. And we talk about all of this in my membership, which is called Untangled. The doors are not open right now, but I help you work on the mindset stuff. And a lot of my Untangled members are here in the live today, and they can tell you we're diving deep. But if you want, you can get on the wait list. It's at minimalisthome.ca/untangled for when the doors open next. Now, another thing that you can do if you're feeling a little bit indecisive is use the penalty box method. I really like this method. A lot of people, I mean, it's certainly not a new idea, but I call it the penalty box method just because I'm from Canada and it's fun to throw a hockey reference in there, even though my family, thank you God, is not into hockey. But I like to call it the penalty box method. Now, what you could do, and okay, so what you do with the penalty box is you take things where you're like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use this, but I'm still like, ugh, maybe I will, right? Give yourself a time limit. Maybe it's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Even if it's a year, although I think that's, unless we're talking something seasonal here, I think we're being a little bit, you know, if we're doing a year. But what you do is you put that in the box. Now, what you could do is what I was just thinking about this morning. And I was like, ooh, what if we called it the secret penalty box? So you put that stuff in the box and then you tape the box up and you write, if not opened by, you know, December 15th, you take that box and you donate it without opening it. If whatever is in that box, if you didn't think I need that and you went and opened that box by then, you donate it. You be brave. One of my very favorite lines from Harry Potter. I can't remember which one it is. One of the, like, I don't know, fourth or fifth, but he says, "Be brave, professor." I love that line. Just because there's so many times in life where we need to be brave. Be brave and be brave in this situation that you're doing it for you, because you are doing this for yourself, for your life. And I know it's scary, but do it. Be brave, professor. So that is my little bit of advice as far as like how long it's going to take. You decide how long it's going to take. You decide. If you want to get it done in 2 weeks, do an hour a day, right? Depending on where you're doing it. Yeah, like even like say you had a guest room that was absolutely full. I'm pretty sure you could go through that guest room as long as you are ready to make those decisions. If you're not ready to make those decisions, that's when you do need to do things like join Untangled so we can untangle. Yes, untangle those. That's why I named it that. Untangle those things in your mind. Okay, I'm going to look at these comments because I was just like chattering away. All right. Took you 3 months. How much per day? I don't remember, but some days I'm sure I did like half an hour. Half an hour. You can get so much done in half an hour. I bet most days I didn't work more than half an hour. And I think some days I only did a few. Still learning to stay on track like that. Only handle it once. Ohio. Oh my gosh. Right. Okay. So the video I made that I posted yesterday, I was cleaning my kitchen and I had canned up some pasta sauce and some jalapenos and I had put them all in the box and I was filming. So I was like trying not to go off camera too much because my intention was not to edit those parts out, but I still did because it was just too long. But what I did was I was going to take it and then just put the box near the top of the stairs because I take these jars downstairs. And instead I was like, no, I only handle it once. Exactly. So I just took it down. Like my thing is basically like, don't put it down unless it goes to the right spot. So I just brought it straight where it needed to go, unloaded it. And I was like, mwah, it's done. Exactly. Hyper focus for the win. Yes, Anita, you can hyper focus for the win. I can declutter 10 hours per day if someone else brings things out and we dine out and I don't go to work. Right, but you don't need to do 10 hours per day if you've gotta work and you still have to make dinner. You can just do 30 minutes. And this is the thing, is some people, they're all or nothing. They're extreme. They're like, "No, I'm decluttering." This is why I'm not a big fan of people saying like, "I'm decluttering for the weekend." No, like, just make it a part of your everyday thing. If you spend half an hour decluttering every day, 15 minutes, like, say you what I've been doing lately when I make dinner is that's when I go and work out. Well, say you were like, "I'm gonna declutter." So, if something is cooking, baking, whatever, on the stove, in the oven, for that half hour, go and declutter. There are times where I have to run upstairs because 'cause I'm working out down in the basement and I stir something or I take it out of the oven or whatever, and then I go and finish what I'm doing. So if you've got to like find a way to work these things into your day-to-day life. So if and it's so helpful if it is around something like making dinner, eating lunch, waking up in the morning, going to bed, whatever. I'm doing a video with Cass from Clutterbug that's coming out on Tuesday, and she one of the things she does is she will every day, she's got, like, these, like, 2 or 3 things that she has got to do, like, she cannot not do them. Um, I need to commit the time, it's taking too long. Right, and so it takes too long when we start and stop because then more stuff accumulates and we're not maintaining it. 30 minutes a day is doable. Yes, and Susie says hers took 3 months and she is on maintenance. Yay, exactly. Declutter before cleaning. Much easier to clean. Well, that is for sure, for sure. For some reason, I feel like I've lost my fantasy self because I let so much go and everyone else in the family filled up the space. I kind of miss myself. Right. And I think that it's very wise to say like what matters to me? What do I want to do? What is my passion? So I said, I think at the beginning of this call, that I want to start making candles. Right? Like this is just of course I would. And one of my favorite things to say, and this is what I'm going to talk to Lisa about, is that I am not like I'm a minimalist that gardens, that makes YouTube videos. So I have like a bunch of equipment. Like there's my one light. Here's another light. And there's other stuff, right? Like, so there's equipment that comes with that. So I'm not going to like stifle myself from doing things because I don't want the stuff. But I have to say, am I going to use it? And when I say like the only thing I've replaced really that I've decluttered is jars. So I decluttered some big 2-liter jars because I was making kombucha from them. And I was like, I'm not making kombucha anymore. So I decluttered them, I donated them. And now this summer, I was like, I want to make kombucha again. So I had to buy the jars again. Not the end of the world, right? So there's that. And let me just do something here. And so don't stifle yourself, but be realistic. Where are you going to keep it? What are you going to do with it? A quality box. Yes. I stay on top of things and do a little extra to accomplish my goals for decluttering. Totally. I live in Minnesota, so I know what you're talking about. Penalty box. I know hockey. It's funny, like I don't mind hockey around. Like I would go to a hockey game, sure. I like going to baseball games. Baseball. Talk about a boring sport, right? I put and sorry to anybody who likes that. 2 baskets of clothes up for 6 months. Went through them last night and ended up donating half of them. That's great. Good job. I love the idea of a secret box. That is so good. I love it. I love it. Annie, yay. You guys ask me your questions while I'm sitting here going through this. With ADHD, I need to be careful not to walk away from the stove while cooking. Oh my gosh. So that's what I say because I've got my teenagers, right? And I'll say, set the timer. If they're putting a pot of water on, I'm like, set the timer for 10 minutes, you know? And actually I use my watch, my Apple Watch. always have. I basically turn on the oven timer and my watch timer. And the other day I was working out. I knew this, but my husband's like, "The timer's going off. Do you need me to do anything?" I'm like, "Yes, take the lid off the bread." And but I had already known. I was on it, but it was helpful. Like it's helpful, right? Um yes, don't lose yourself, right? Still do the things. Hello from North Carolina. Yes, it fits my season. Thank you. Minimalism is different for everyone. Yes. Hello, Simone. Other people filling up the decluttered space is an issue. Yeah. And Lindy says, I live by timer and calendar on phone. Oh my gosh. Yes. I love my planner. And that's one of the things that I did that I am talking about. Like this is like this week. Not too bad. But like sometimes it's just like crazy. So I use my planner, and she says timer and phone and calendar, but I use my planner and my phone. So on my planner, I put down the things that I want to accomplish. And in my phone, I put down the things I need to accomplish, like whether it's like a doctor's appointment or you know, plans I've made, right? I'm going out for dinner with some friends tonight. So I put that in there so I don't make a mistake. Cray Cray says, how would you approach asking family members not getting you Christmas presents? Oh my gosh. I really like this too, Megan. This is my favorite thing. Consumables, tea, coffee, candles, something. Yes. Like if people give, my mom got my husband, I think I talked about this last year, but she got him this meat this box of meat, which I know sounds gross and crazy, but it was like sausages and things. That was so good. Like we would sometimes just be like, "Hey, like let's have like some cheese and crackers," and we'd like get some of that out. That was one of the best gifts she could have given him. And then last year, so random, right? That she's a good gift giver in a lot of ways. So then she gave him a gift certificate for this Middle Eastern market, and it did take us a while to use it. That's the problem with gift certificates is that unless it's I mean, I even have a couple for our local mall still in my purse where I mean, first of all, I hate the mall, so I don't go there very much. But if I do, I'm probably going to forget to use it. I mean, eventually it does, but that's the problem with gift certificates. But I love the idea of consumables. For me, like I love canning now, and I don't know if our family likes it that much. I don't want to say I don't care, but I did. My husband, he makes these delicious like spiced pecans. Try to say it the right way, the American way. It's the correct way because it's their nut. But um, spiced pecans, and they're delicious. And I would make cookies. And David's Tea used to provide these tins every time you ordered tea, and it was like too much. Like, but I would put like they'd be like these perfectly little tins, and so I would make some round cookies and stack them up, and everybody would get like some nuts and some cookies. And last year I gave out antipasto and things like that. And I think like if somebody was to give me that, oh, that would make me so happy. And yet, some people, even if they have a lot of stuff, they're like a bit confused by a gift like that, but I love it. So you could just say, I am trying to limit the amount of stuff I have. So I would love some consumable gifts. And even if you don't like it, you can donate stuff to the food bank. I mean, unless it's like homemade, but yeah, like I used to just go all out and get like special jams and special mustards and things like that. Kristen says, I live by timers. My family makes fun of me, but I do so much better. So true. And I don't have an Alexa. I'm a little suspicious of them, but that's one of the things that Cass says she does as well, is she'll say like, "Alexa, remind me I have a doctor's appointment in 30 minutes," or whatever, or "I made a doctor's appointment for blah, blah, blah." I think that would be helpful. I just throw everything straight in my phone. Like I just go to my Google Calendar. I use my Google Calendar. I have one that syncs up with the family too, and I just throw the important things in there. The planner is for basically for me to plan the things I want to do. So as a person who has a YouTube channel, like there's a lot that goes into that. I need to write the videos, record the videos, edit the videos. I'm looking for an editor if you know anybody. I need to make a thumbnail. I need to, do all of these other things. So that stuff, I need to write that down. Otherwise, I'm going to forget, or I'm only going to remember a little bit. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of other things I could do. And instead, I'm just like falling down and not getting the things I want to get done. I also give consumables to family who want gifts for Christmas. Totally. It is amazing how much better I feel when I have less stuff. Yes, I never realized how much clutter was weighing on my whole mood, body, and spirit. And this is the thing. This is why I am like always saying to people, like, I'm so passionate about this. You guys, I might change the channel name because I am just so obsessed with people creating a life that they love. And I just don't think minimalist home is encompassing that. But I'm totally digressing. There's my ADHD coming out. But what I want is I really want people to understand. And I know people are like, oh, I'm so tired of you saying this. But as a nurse, I have seen young people dying of cancer. I have seen people over 50. I don't want to call them old, my gosh, but people over, because you're not, I'm almost there, but people over 50 who can't walk across the room because of whatever health concerns they have. And I'm like, life is short. Let's live it to the best that we can. And one of the most important things is living in a home that is serving you, an environment that is lifting you up and making you feel good. Great shout. How big your house is. Yes, I have a big house. I have 1-bedroom apartment. It took 6 months to declutter and I had still. Okay, so my house is big. I don't know how big it is. 3, 4 bedrooms. I mean, it's a big house. So that's a lot of work, right? When we moved, yeah, like there was I remember I went to my chiropractor. I said this before and people were like, "Why would your chiropractor?" It was just because we were chatting. But he's like, "You need a box room." A room just to keep your boxes. But the problem is then that just becomes the room where the boxes live forever, right? So we went through those boxes and it felt so good. Perishables or Amazon gift cards. That would be a good one. I think online gift cards might be one of the best, especially for things people use. Um, and it might be impersonal for some. I know. But some people, okay. You got this one right, Megan. Some people love to give gifts. It's their love language. It's tough to reject that without hurting them. Right. And I think that that is why it's useful to give people parameters then. In my family, sometimes we'll say, like, let's go out for dinner. My husband, his love language is gift giving. Lindsay, who I did a video with, she's a relationship coach. And I told her, like, I didn't give my husband a present for his 50th birthday. She was like, what? And I was like, he said he didn't want anything. That was a trap. Don't ever fall for that kind of trap. Let me tell you. I re-gift gift cards. I have done that. Yes, use the David's tea tins for gifts. Perfect. They're so helpful. Some of my family fixes homemade vanilla. Yeah. I have heard it's very easy. Gift certificates to the spa, the zoo. Yes, and those are good. One year I got our kids, there's a thing, it's called Wild Play, and it's like an adventure zip lining and climbing thing for kids. I got our kids seasons passes for that once. I have too much coffee and tea. Okay. Coffee has an expiration date. Totally. And that's the thing, is like, that's sometimes I would take that to work and leave it there and people would use it. They would drink it. Like, you can find places to, those things I think are easy to declutter. Yeah. But also, here's the thing. We need to set boundaries with our family members. And you need to just be honest and say, I really appreciate that you want to give me gifts. I am trying to declutter. So I'd love it if you want to give me a gift, and you're not required to, but if you want to give me a gift, how about you take me out for lunch? Or you're welcome to get me, like this fancy popcorn or something, like anything. Anything. If somebody gave me like a bath bomb, I'd be like, thanks. That's great. I really appreciate that. I think, oh yeah. Women feel clutter more than men, for sure. That's actually what got me on my decluttering journey. As an aside on consumables, focus on giving that to family members who struggle with hoarding. Yeah. Mhm. My Alexa just set my timer for 30 minutes. Ah! You know what? Where was I talking about that recently? Somewhere else I was talking about. Was it? Oh, I think it was in our untangled call. I had said something like that. And I'm like, I'm going to turn somebody's Alexa on. Oh my gosh. Okay. I live with my mom in a big house and I do the vacuuming, even though it's huge and a procrastinator. Lucky thing. Yeah. Hmm. You know what I recommend? Save up your money, get yourself a iRobot vacuum. Oh my gosh. Love it. I like your daughter. She gives everything she receives. And that's the other thing. So I mentioned the iRobot, the vacuum. You can always say, like, if your family members, they want to give you gifts, you can say, I'm saving up for an iRobot. So if you like, you can, I mean, and it depends on who your family is and, like what the kind of relationship you have. But you can always be like, if you want, you can donate to my iRobot fund. You don't need to buy me one, but you know, we did a calendar for my mom with dates marked on it where we were going to do something or go somewhere, even family games night. That's a very good idea. Oh my gosh, I would be thrilled. I actually just bought a ton of wood because we're expanding my garden. We're basically doubling it. So expensive. And then of course we need to fill it with soil. Really, that's what I should just say to my family, soil. Just get some bags of soil. Actually, I think I gave my mom a gift card, and maybe my mother-in-law too, to the garden center, and I might even continue to do that because both of them like to buy plants and things like that, and I don't think either of them need anything, and my mom, she's good. Like, if she needs something, she'll say like, "Hey, I was thinking I would like to get this for Christmas," or whatever, and that's helpful. A membership for Tool. Oh, that's a great idea. I love it. Time with family is win-win. My birthday is in April. I asked for flower seeds. That's so lovely. I go mad for bath bombs. Yes, bath bombs are great. Compost as a gift. Genius. Actually, and one of the girls I used to work with um, back in COVID, am I working at the hospital anymore? I sometimes work on weekends. I don't work at a hospital. I do wound care because I don't work as much as a nurse. It's not, what it's like, Christy, with skills. I don't want to lose them. Yeah, a truckload of soil is much cheaper. So I'm buying a truckload of soil for my garden. And this girl who I used to work with when we were doing COVID testing. It was awful. It was the worst experience. I can tell you about that later. But we were outside in the wind and the rain and like it's like so gloomy here today and it was just insane. But anyway, so she and her husband they gave each other a truckload of sea soil, which is like this really quality soil we have here. So great. Like I was like, "Oh, I just love that." I use free tree trunks as my edging and it's free. Yes, that is so good. Ah, Paul, of permaculture. Of course you do. Yes. Yes, I absolutely love that. Oh my gosh. Well, everybody, what are you going to do for the rest of the day? For me, I am going to work on a couple of things. I got a couple of Zoom calls going for dinner with some friends, which is going to be absolutely lovely. Um, and I'm going to let me know if you think this would be fun. So I did the video yesterday where I cleaned my kitchen and I was like, clean with me. And I didn't speed things up. I like to speed things up. First of all, I think it's funny. And for me to watch myself like running around, but also, I just was like, hey, like you can clean with me while I just chatter on about whatever. Um, but I had suggested, and some people said they liked this idea of doing a live stream while I clean or declutter somewhere, and then you clean or declutter as well. So let me know. Christy says she can't work a little at a time. It's all or nothing. Yeah. So for me with YouTube and with my declutter coaching business and everything, it's impossible for me to do more than that. You got your kitchen picked up while watching. That is so great. Lydia says she'd like that. Awesome. Okay. I think that's what we'll do. I think we will do a live stream decluttering session maybe in a couple of weeks. Oh my gosh, everybody's all yes, please, yes, please. So what I'll do is I'll try to give you guys some notice. And even if you don't catch it live, you can still do that along with me. So we'll do that in a couple of weeks. Well, okay. So you guys, my husband, he's got to go to work in like 20 minutes and then he's working until after I go to bed. So I'm going to go give him a quick snuggle before he goes to work, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope something fun